Hey everyone, it's Benny the Finance Dog. Welcome to my channel. As we do every Sunday, we'll be going over the major macroeconomic events for you to be aware of during the trading week, as well as go over the monthly and weekly charts for SPY, QQQ, and Apple to give you some levels going into this week. Starting with the economic calendar, pretty light week this week. We have a PMI report on Tuesday, which could sway markets, though it's likely going to be a small move. And then we have several employment numbers to be on the lookout for. Last week was pretty busy with the FOMC, so this week should be a lot calmer in terms of economic reportings, though still a good idea to keep an eye on these and just be aware of them as they could push the market, specifically for if you're trading anything in the manufacturing space. So keep your eyes out for that. Otherwise, pretty calm week, though we do have a ton of companies reporting earnings. We have a third of the S&P 500 reporting earnings this week, so it's a good idea to keep your eyes on all that stuff. We have some banks reporting before the open on Monday, like SoFi. Then we have Uber, Caterpillar, Merck, JetBlue, Starbucks, CVS, Kraft Heinz, Etsy, Shopify, Qualcomm, PayPal, and then of course Amazon and Apple report after the close on Thursday. So it could be a good idea to play the run up to earnings up till Thursday and then watch for some dumpage post Thursday into Friday, towards the end of Thursday's trading day, I should say. So shout out Earnings Whispers again for putting this out. Nice clean graphic for us to see and kind of be aware of the announcements of earnings throughout the course of the week. But otherwise, pretty calm week in the markets after a volatile week last week with FOMC. So hopefully we continue that. Now, in terms of just beginning a new month, I said it in the last video about the last few trading days of the month being up. It's generally the trend. And then August in general is usually a down market across the board, end of summer, kind of middle of the quarter now. So I wouldn't expect huge moves this month, though the first week of a new month is generally positive. August itself has been fairly negative or has not grown as much as other months in the calendar year. Now, keep that in mind. So, as we look for probably some downside opportunity across the board, especially if earnings for Apple and Amazon they adjust guidance the same way that Microsoft did, we could see a pullback appear in the market. So, with that being said, let's head to the charts. We're going to go over SPY, QQQ, and Apple. Starting with SPY, last week we closed at 456.92, headed towards that 460 level. I think we're going to get some huge resistance once we get to that 460 psych level. We have a trend line that we're kind of testing. We've had several candles just basically come up and touch that 460 before getting rejected. If we go back to April of last year, we see a major rejection, basically right around the same level that we are now. So if we do break past that 460 level, we could have, a run up to, 465, 470 coming in the next few months. But we do have, what is this, 5 straight months of gains in the S&P 500. So we are again due for a pullback. I'll keep saying it until it happens, though we keep playing the upside. So just be aware of that. As we switch over to the weekly, we got kind of the same levels that we had before, 455 being a major level looking for a bounce. We did actually get that bounce at 453, or you can call it 451 if you want to count the bottom of the wick. So we actually did get bounces at the levels we were looking at on the weekly chart from last week. And this candle looks pretty healthy for last week to kind of continue this run up. Don't see any real signs of a pullback other than crossing this trend line that was created from the peak of last week. So just something to keep an eye out for SPY as we switch over to QQQ. QQQ on the monthly still looks pretty in terms of just upward momentum. It's nice to see that we closed basically right below that 385 level. If we do push through that, looks like we're kind of in the middle of some resistance. Um, if we do push through that, I mean, we got clear ways up to 390, possibly even 400 on the way to all-time highs. Again, we've had 5 straight months of gains and been up in 6 out of the last 7 months, so it's been quite a run for just the market in general. So August could see a little bit of that getting trimmed off. I wouldn't be surprised. So, but as far as levels go, 385, we're watching for basically rejects off that. If we break through it, then we'll go 387.50, 390, and then to the downside, 380 is a key level that would have to hold if we are going to push higher. And if we break 380, we have room, in my opinion, all the way down to really like 370 um, before we actually find any support, at least on the monthly. Switching over to the weekly, same thing kind of here. The pattern we've been noticing the last few weeks is, green week, small pullback, green week, small pullbacks, green week, small pullback, green week. So if we continue that pattern, we should see a pullback here. I wouldn't be surprised with this selling pressure. It seems like we've had in 2 out of the last 3 weeks for us to reject this 385 level and then find support around 370 depending on how the week shakes out. So that's kind of my expectations for SPY and QQQ. Let's switch over to Apple now. Apple has been a bit strong and has really had, this would be its 7th straight month in the green, pushing all-time highs. They have earnings coming out on Thursday. We could see a run up to that earnings announcement on Thursday. I think this will get dangerously close to 200 before earnings comes out. Potentially, if they guide lower for the rest of 2023 and the beginning of 2024, we probably will reject that 200 level. Though if they come out with earnings and say something phenomenal, then we could push past 200 finally and be north of that heading into the rest of August and the rest of this quarter. My estimation is that we will have some type of move down, especially with all of these months in a row of just green. I mean, we haven't had a red month since December of last year, so it's been quite a while for Apple on this run. So it's a little due for a pullback. But again, I've been saying that for a while, but still playing the upside as it presents itself. Switching over to the weekly here, we do have, this 194.48 level. That's on watch. That was a previous high. And then, if we do break below that, I think we find support at 192.50. That's been a major level of watch. And underneath that, we could go all the way down to 190. I don't think we break under that and head to 185 unless something catastrophically bad comes out about Apple during earnings. So I'd be looking for bounces off 190 post news. And then prior to that, to the upside, I mean, we closed at 195.83, so we could see a push up to this 197 level that got rejected before, or even look for rejects off the all-time high of 198.23. So there's some levels to the up and the downside on Apple, SPY, and QQQ. Make sure to trade with a plan this week with all the earnings coming out. It kind of could be easy to get distracted. You want to just focus on your basket of stocks, whatever the case may be, whether you trade Tesla or Nvidia or Google, and really just focus on mastering a few set stock tickers. So for me, it's really just Apple, and then I use SPY and QQQ to kind of guide where I believe Apple is going to go. Hopefully, you have a similar trading plan and can just focus on a few charts and really just master them and learn how to play those positions to perfection. So that's what I'm hoping for you. Trade with a plan this week. Trade smart. Don't overtrade. Don't revenge trade. And we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Woof woof.